I caught my wife cheating and it hit me. Like a ton of bricks. Let me give you some background. We've been married for 8 years and every year we have this tradition of visiting a beautiful resort. Just an hour away from our home. We always create amazing memories there and look forward to it every year, but yesterday things took a different turn. My wife was about to hop in the shower when she realized she left her phone in her car. She asked me to grab it for her. As I opened the passenger door, I noticed a pack of matches from the resort lying between the seat and the door. At first I didn't think much of it since we always take her car to the resort. I picked them up, not realizing they were about to change my day. Coincidentally, my buddy Bob and I had planned to have lunch that day. Bob is a fishing buddy who was passing through near the resort, so we decided to meet up there. I handed my wife her phone and casually told her about my lunch plans. When she asked where we were going, I mentioned the resort. She seemed a bit tense, but I didn't pay much attention to it. After a quick kiss, I left for lunch. Bob and I had a great time talking about old fishing trips and planning new ones. As we were leaving, Bob grabbed some free matches from the counter and we lit up cigarettes. Outside, we noticed an ad on the matchboxes for a fishing spot with cabin rentals. It sounded awesome, so we agreed to check it out later. After Bob left, I realized I hadn't grabbed any matches for myself, so I went back inside the resort to pick some up. Before heading home, I mentioned to the desk clerk how much I liked the design of the matchbox, and to my surprise she said they'd only had them for the past 3 days. I was confused. I told her I had a pack in my pocket that I got 6 months ago. She assured me that the design was brand new. Then my eyes caught the registry book on the counter. I saw a check in for John and Z Braden. My wife's name is Z. I pointed it out to the clerk, saying, "That's a strange name." See, the clerk agreed and mentioned that John and Z visit the resort once a month, checking in at noon and leaving by 8 p.m. That's when everything clicked. First the new matches in her car, then the so-called girls' day out she had a few months ago, where she left around 11 o'clock a.m. and didn't come back until 9 o'clock p.m. Now a woman with the same name on the resort registry. I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just a coincidence. I stayed calm, making small talk with the clerk before leaving the resort, but the whole drive home my mind raced. I couldn't believe what I had uncovered. The truth hit me hard. My wife, my loving Z, had been cheating on me, and not just once but apparently every month for who knows how long. Anger and betrayal burned inside me, but I knew I couldn't confront her just yet. I needed a plan. I needed revenge. The pain was too much, and I thought, why shouldn't she feel it too? During that hour-long drive home, I started plotting. I knew Z had another girls' day out planned for next month, but this time I'd be ready. I was going to make sure she got a surprise she'd never forget. That's when I crafted the perfect plan to serve her divorce papers during her next little escapade. Once I got home, fueled by anger and determination, I began digging into John's background. After some online searching, I found out that he had a wife named Julia. I tracked her down on Facebook and sent her a message explaining that I had information about her husband she wanted to know. I left my phone number and she called me the same day. Our conversation was long and I shared my plan to serve Z the divorce papers. At first Julia was furious and wanted to act right away, but I calmed her down. I convinced her that taking revenge would not only give her a sense of power but would also make the divorce process smoother. She could walk away with her head held high and not let John off easy. Julia asked about the attorney I was using for the divorce, and since she didn't know anyone, she suggested we both use the same one. I mentioned my friend who happened to be an attorney, and we both got in touch with him. It turned out to be a great decision. The plan was set. We would show up at the resort during JN and Z's next rendezvous around dinner time. We staged it perfectly. My attorney friend posed as a photographer, capturing pictures of happy couples at the resort. I was in disguise, wearing a wig and a ball cap to hide my face, with a video camera in hand. The only worry was that the staff might Realize we weren't supposed to be there. But we weren't too concerned, we just needed enough time to drop the bomb at their table. When we reached their table, we pretended to take their picture. That's when I yanked off my hat and wig, revealing my face behind the camera. Z's face went pale and she stared at me in complete disbelief. I knew I had completely shocked her, despite her usual quick and witty nature. At that moment she was utterly speechless. After uncovering her infidelity, I decided to take control of the situation. The attorney served Z with the divorce papers right there and I started pressuring her to sign them. Immediately I made it clear that she would only leave with her personal belongings in her car. I even threatened to share the video with everyone we knew, including her parents, if she refused. At first she resisted, so I turned to John and revealed that I knew about Julia. I told Z that if she didn't sign I would tell Julia everything. To my surprise, John started pushing Z to sign as well. The tension was thick and Z looked at John with the same shock and disgust she had directed at me. I had expected him to support her, but it seemed like he was more concerned about his own situation. Feeling cornered and defeated, Z finally gave in and signed the papers. She surrendered almost everything to me, keeping only her car and personal items. Pretending to feel satisfied, I turned to leave with the papers in hand. But that's when we dropped the final bombshell. I revealed that I was going to share the incriminating video anyway. Right on cue, Julia, who had been waiting nearby, walked up and the attorney served John with divorce papers. Round 2 had begun. John refused to sign, and to add to the drama, Z completely lost it. She freaked out on John, furious that he had pressured her to sign but wouldn't do the same. At that moment it felt like this might be the end of their affair. Once the chaos settled, Julia and I walked back to the parking lot together. She asked for a copy of the video and I agreed to send it to her. We parted ways, and my buddy joined me in my truck. As we drove home I felt victorious. True to my word, I sent the video to everyone via Facebook Messenger, friends, family, and her parents. The reactions were exactly what I expected: shock and embarrassment. Z ended up moving back in with her parents for a while. Despite everything, I had always respected her parents and didn't want them to be fed lies about the situation. They needed to know the truth about how it all went down. Julia also came out of her divorce with nearly everything, and she was happy with how things turned out. Both of us felt proud of our revenge and had no regrets in our minds. Exposing the deceitful actions of our cheating spouses left us feeling vindicated and empowered. What do you think? Was it too much, or did those cheaters get what they deserved? Share your opinions in the comments below.